I did not expect that. Hey everyone, Templar74 here with another episode of Poke Talk, and today's episode of Poke Talk is going to be my review of the latest episode of Pokemon Horizons, episode 89, and this is also the final episode before the confirmed time skip, but I'll talk about that in just a second. But back to the episode. This episode really went all freaking out to wrap up this arc and to wrap up this saga of the series before we move on into the next one. I was not expecting this episode at all to be as good as it was. There was a lot of big stuff in this episode, so without further rambling, let's move on to the Reader's Digest version of the episode, and then I'll tell you my thoughts about it. So, Reader's Digest version of the episode: Pagago, with the Six Heroes' help, purifies Laqua into Laqueum and returns to its normal form. With the Laqueum that's keeping all of them alive, Lucius and Gibeon vanish, and it's also during the confusion when they vanish and everything's falling apart that the six heroes are released from their ancient Pokeballs. Spinel betrays Gibeon, and we see that the six heroes go berserk, and it's just the Black Rayquaza that doesn't, and it's also all during all this confusion and all this chaos that Liko loses Lucius's belt and notebook into the void, unfortunately. Our heroes do escape, with the exception of one, when everything's freaking falling apart and shit's hitting the fan. Everybody manages to escape except for Freddy and Charizard, and they are blown off the airship as they're being rescued, and it's kind of sad because it's pretty much low-key confirmed that Freddy does not make it out with these guys, unfortunately. Captain Pikachu does, Freddy does not, which is unfortunate because he was a great character. He was like, as far as father figure characters go, I would say that he's right up there with Professor Kukui. So it was unfortunate to see Freddy get such a sad ending. He does manage to hand off Captain Pikachu to Liko before he ends up getting blown off and out into the destruction. So it's pretty safe to assume that he didn't make it, which is sad. Like I said, I was not expecting that at all. And the Rising Volt Tacklers, of course, minus Freddy, escape from Laqua. And, a year passes since the events of that, and we learn that during that year-long period that Liko has returned to Orange Academy. So, and that's pretty much where we leave off, i.e. with the trailer for the next upcoming saga, which is Mega Voltage, which will be airing in a few weeks. That's the Reader's Digest version of the episode. Normally, my Reader's Digest versions of the episode are a heck of a... Sorry with the hiccup in the recording there. I actually just had a battery die on me. So Mega Voltage begins in a few weeks, and that's pretty much the Reader's Digest version of this episode, like I said. And normally my Reader's Digest versions of these episodes are really, really short, and I try not to extend them out because basically everybody wants to see the episodes, and I do put out my reviews a little bit early just because I do watch them live as they're happening, because 9 times out of 10 I'm already awake when they air. But so all that said, this one is just so long because there was so much in this episode, and I really had a lot to say about it. This episode had no business being as good as it was. I was not expecting the character cutoffs that we got. The episode was a pretty strong conclusion. Everything said, I did not expect this episode to be as good as it was. Like I said, I know I'm rambling, but I'm kind of at a loss for words still over the episode. Overall, the episode was fantastic. It hit on all the right notes. This episode had no business being as good as it was, but it was. Overall, I give the episode a 9.5 out of 10. This was actually a really fantastic episode, and I really have no complaints about it at all to speak of. This is probably about as close to a perfect episode of Pokemon Horizons as we've had thus far. Very curious to see where we go with Mega Voltage here in a few weeks, but in the meantime, let's enjoy what we had. Let's take a breather, reacclimate to everything before the next series starts, and we enter a new chapter in the Pokemon anime history. But anyway, those are just my thoughts, and as always, I want to hear yours. Let me know what your guys' thoughts were about this week's episode. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was just there? Were you expecting what we got? What were some things you weren't expecting? What are some things that just blew your mind? Just let me know in the comment section down below, because as always, I enjoy hearing from you. All right, everyone, as always, Templar74 signing off. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll talk to you all next time. Goodbye, everybody.